Welcome to Sneak Peek. This past week, Fantastic Fest took over Austin, showcasing this year's best sci-fi and horror films.
Being the largest genre film festival in the country, Fantastic Fest grew up here in Austin at our very own Alamo Drafthouse.
The festival has hosted world premiere of films such as There Will Be Blood, Zombieland, and celebrity guests such as Mel Gibson, Bill Murray, and Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd? This year, Sneak Peek took to the red carpet to get the lowdown on all this year's selections, which will be weighing in over the next couple weeks.
So sit back, relax, because it's time for Sneak Peek. Hey guys, this week on Sneak Peek. What?
I'm just so sorry. I'm just traumatized by that new horror movie, Tusk. I just have to let it out, you know?
Are you serious? Because we're about to watch the interview from the filmmakers of Tusk.
No, please. I can't do this.
Oh, cover your eyes or something. Roll it, Olivia.
Hey Sneak Peek, it's Olivia here at the red carpet premiere for Tusk here at the Fantastic Fest. So tonight kicks off the 10th anniversary for Fantastic Fest. What does this milestone mean to you?
Wow, it's hard to imagine thinking back to those first days when we started up Fantastic Fest that would grow into something like this. It was a very modest affair, 4 days, 25 movies, and it was really just something for the Austin community to get these types of movies, international, crazy, weird genre films. And we're still doing that. We still go after international, crazy, weird genre films, but now we've got an industry component. We've got young filmmakers that are looking for opportunities. It's become more of an international event in and of itself. So I'd like to say there was a master plan, but it really just sort of organically grew over the years.
So what was your favorite part about the whole process?
Honestly, man, the fact that we finished it. So many ideas wither on the vine because motherfuckers never think that, they can take it to the limit, that they can start something and finish it. You get a good idea all the time, and then you shout it down with the idea of oh, somebody's already done that, or later on, or that's stupid or something. People just don't follow through. The best thing I could say about Tusk is we made it. You know what I'm saying? Good or bad is up to the audience. I think it's f***ed up. But the fact that we didn't just let it die in a conversation. A lot of people out there are like, oh, this sounds like a stupid stoner conversation. It is. And if it was their stoner conversation, that's where it would have lived. But we had enough let's see what that would look like. Enough little rascals in us to try to put on a show. And it worked out, man. It's strange.
Okay, so what sounds did you try to incorporate throughout the film score?
There's this interesting, if you listen to it, it's kind of a low droning walrus sound. Walruses make weird sounds, but I try to get it like a bass guitar and a cello just to make this kind of, it's just a sound of dread. It's kind of subliminal and just kind of plays in the background a lot. So it's all about setting tone. That's kind of what the idea was.
Good. So your character Wallace, he turns into a walrus. Just casual.
It was in his namesake. It was foreshadowing. You kind of had to. It's like if you call your kid Jeeves, they're gonna probably end up being a butler.
Yeah, naturally. So what animal, if you had the decision to, would you want to turn into?
This is easy for me. It's a monkey, without a doubt. They just seem so carefree and happy, and I'm always exponentially happier when I'm around monkeys. Easy.
They're pretty joyful animals,
They're the best. They're the best. I've never been happier in my life than when I'm surrounded. The few times I've been lucky enough to be surrounded by monkeys.
So how would you describe Tusk to the viewers out there?
Oh boy, how much time do you have? It is. I like to say it's a mix of a whole bunch of different genres. It's a genre bender. It's Kevin Smith, so you're going to get a little bit of that. But there's also some Human Centipede and some Misery and some straight up real horror. There's some Silence of the Lambs. There's some Kafka for the kids. There's just it's a paella. It's a cinematic paella. Yeah.
Okay, well, it was very nice to meet you. Best of luck with your new film.
Thanks. Good luck at UT.
Thank you. Hook 'em.
Welcome back to Sneak Peek.
Wow, Tusk is really dark. Like D-list celebrity dark levels of dark.
Yeah, but it's funny that you mentioned that because coming up next, we have our list of the week with Victoria and Gerardo.
This week's topic, celebrity comebacks.
Hi guys, it's Victoria.
And Gerardo. This fall, several celebrities are making a comeback.
That's right, and today we'll be bringing a former superhero, 2 childhood actors, a household chef, and a derailed Oscar winner back into the spotlight.
First up, let's take a look at Michael Keaton, best known for portraying the Masked Crusader in Tim Burton's Batman. Keaton has refrained from taking on many big-budget films in recent years, but this October, he makes his comeback in Birdman, playing a washed-up on-screen superhero who, ironically enough, is also trying to make a comeback by staging, producing, and starring in his own Broadway show.
Speaking about superheroes, next up is my childhood hero, Hilary Duff, who played the iconic Lizzie McGuire in the much-loved Disney Channel show of the same name. She also released several albums in the early 2000s, but since then has stayed off the radar. This October, she will be re-entering the music scene with the release of a new untitled album. This album comes shortly after her release of 2 pop singles over the summer, All About You and Chasing the Sun. And she's not stopping there. She'll be starring in a TV land show called Younger.
Is this what dreams are made of?
Well, I don't know, Gerardo, but I'm definitely excited.
Another familiar name from the early 2000s, Haley Joel Osment, makes his own return with 2 pictures this year. Best known for playing Cole Sear in The Sixth Sense, he returns to the big screen in Tusk, playing a supporting character searching for his friend in Canada. Osment also stars in I'll Follow You Down, a sci-fi flick in which his character delves into his father's past.
And talking about a sketchy past, Reese Witherspoon has stayed out of the media after her recent arrest for disorderly conduct. Since winning her Oscar in Walk the Line, she has made a series of movies that flopped, such as the romantic comedy This Means War. This fall, she returns to more serious characters in The Good Lie, playing a woman who takes in Sudanese refugees, and in Wild, a biographical drama. Who knows, maybe one of these films could get her another Oscar nomination.
And last but not least is the Queen of Butter, also known as Paula Deen. She lost everything after the evidence of her saying racial slurs was released. But this week, she attempts to save her career with the opening of an online exclusive TV network, which the public can access through a subscription service. Dean also recently bought the rights to all her shows from the Food Network, and she will broadcast these old shows along with several new ones through this website. Talk about trying hard to come back into the spotlight.
You got that right. Well, that's it for celebrity comebacks. Thanks, guys.
New as crazy Hollywood can get, people turn out all right.
It's true. Everybody loves a good comeback story.
You know, you're right. You hear me, Eddie Murphy, Jackie Chan, Michael Myers.
Seriously, you're the things that we grew up with. Get back on that horse.
We should totally write them a letter. Like, come on, just one more good movie, please.
No kidding. And while we wait on their responses, let's take a commercial break.
But stay tuned, because we have the next dish coming up with Chelsea, which takes a stab at this season's new pilots.
Well, hey again. I missed y'all so much.
And I know you guys missed us. I mean, come on, take a look at us. We're so hot.
Ooh, and we always have the hot topics that people are talking about.
Like, oh my gosh, can you believe that Miley Cyrus twerked at the VMAs this year?
Oh, it was disgusting. What was that? Oh, that was last year.
Oh, oops, my bad. Well, do you know who's always on top of things? We have Chelsea over there, who is always in the loop.
No kidding. And here's Chelsea with the dish on this year's TV pilots.
This fall, the broadcast networks have ushered in numerous new pilots that promise to build upon and advance broadcast television as we know it. And I'm here to give you a guide to the shows I'm particularly excited about. On the comedy front, I have to say I'm super stoked about NBC's A to Z. In one of the network's new sit rom-coms, Andrew, played by Mad Men's Ben Feldman, falls in love with Zelda, How I Met Your Mother's Kristen Milioti, and the show tracks their journey of their relationship from point A to point Z. This show should be interesting considering we already know the ending, as with every romantic comedy, but I'll be tuning in to figure out just how NBC pulls this off. Next up for comedies is ABC's Blackish. Anthony Anderson plays Dre, the father of 3 kids who are being raised in a very whitewashed upper middle class community. The catch? Dre is under immense pressure from his father to ensure his children are in touch with their African American roots. Yet another family sitcom for ABC. This one looks to be as promising as Modern Family, ripe with social commentary and yet still fun for the whole family. Our last comedy is one that might appeal to sitcom purists, Fox's Mulaney. For months, John Mulaney has tried to reassure the world that he is not Jerry Seinfeld, or at least not really. In his first sitcom, former SNL head writer stars as himself, a stand-up comedian trying to make it in Hollywood. Along with a cast of fellow comedians, including fellow SNL alum Nasim Pedrad, Mulaney will follow the group's lives in typical 3-camera comedy fashion. From what I've seen, Mulaney looks to be filling the gap Seinfeld left when it went off the air over a decade ago, and I can only hope it lives up to its promise. On the drama side, the networks are definitely taking their cues from what has been working. First up is Fox's Gotham. Following the success of multiple high-grossing Batman feature films over the past couple decades, Gotham promises to give a view of the Caped Crusader we haven't seen before, his and every other character's origin story. Following Detective Jim Gordon as he enters the Gotham City Police Department, we learn quickly that Gotham is on the verge of total anarchy. The pilot episode, which aired this Tuesday, was heavy on the exposition, a definite help for Batman illiterates, but might have seemed clunky for those already in the know. Either way, I'm willing to give it another week. If you ever wanted a Fault in Our Stars television show, Fox has got your back. Red Band Society is about a pediatric ward at a hospital and follows the trials, tribulations, and hijinks of a bunch of sick kids determined not to be just that. The pilot was fascinating and introduced a huge cast that boasts a lot of potential for future storylines. Let's hope it continues to be more interesting than sad as the season progresses. Shonda Rhimes once again demonstrates her not-so-secret takeover of ABC dramas with this season's How to Get Away with Murder. Starring Viola Davis as a mysterious law professor, the series follows Davis and her 4 ambitious law students through the twists and turns of a murder case that could alter the future of their lives and the university forever. While I'm kind of indifferent about the premise of the show, I might just tune in to see what Shonda Rhimes has cooked up now. And those are my pilots to keep an eye on at the beginning of this fall's television season. Back to you, Brian and Katie.
New TV seasons are always exciting.
Oh my gosh, I know, right? New shows to fall in love with, plot holes to hate, characters to write fan fiction about.
And I just love when the audience gets so involved and they get so engaged and they get so angry.
Isn't that what you said before the beginning of season 2 for House of Cards?
I'm still not over that. We're not talking about it.
Oh, never mind that. How about we talk about Fantastic Fest?
Fantastic idea. Let's see what Christian and Chelsea have to say about the highlights of Fantastic Fest.
I showed up to a South Austin gym. Yes, and by gym I mean weightlifting, heat cranked up gym, to cover what I thought would be a diverse panel of those involved in Fantastic Fest. Little did I know that what I was getting into was one-of-a-kind debate, combining trivial yet important topics and the element of actual physical boxing into an anything-but-neat package called the Fantastic Debates. Fantastic Fest, in its 10th year, held its 10th annual Fantastic Debate, an event part of the festival where directors, actors, writers, and always Alamo Drafthouse creator Tim League come to argue and fight. I was there to take you inside this event and provide for you a play-by-play. This year featured 4 different pair-ups narrated by the one and only Owen Egerton. First up in the ring, Josh Ether versus Joe Lynch. It's not a boxing match without a good entry. Josh with the classic hardcore rock entrance, followed by Joe with a more ska-inspired, trumpet-blaring entrance into the ring. Joe and Josh are faced with the question of whether cowboys are better than samurais or vice versa. Josh takes on the position of defending cowboys while Joe takes on defending samurais. First up to the plate is 2 minutes on the clock for Josh. Josh says that cowboys, in fact, are better because they are the foundation of this country. Joe defends his argument by saying, "Why would you cross a samurai? One with a sword. He could take you out in a couple swings." The two finally feel that enough words have been said and they decide to take it to the mat. Time to shed some blood and tears. First, they throw punches, and ooh, that's gotta hurt. In the end, when the crowd is asked who they think is the winner, it doesn't come down to punches and blows, it comes down to the argument, because we're dealing with a very intellectual audience, to say the least. The crowd screams in favor of Joe's argument, saying that samurais are in fact better. To prove girls are just as strong as boys, the next round is a woman-on-woman fight featuring Jenny and Maria. Jenny enters the ring all patriotic with an American flag, while Maria takes a more Skrillexy, head-banging approach. Both are ready to fight. The two are ruthless fighters, but who wouldn't be faced with their question of whether literature should be adapted into films? Jenny takes on the position that literature should not be adapted to films, saying when they are, films like Twilight and Harry Potter happen, as Maria defends it, saying that such great works are turned into film, such as The Shawshank Redemption and Gone with the Wind. Words are thrown, but mostly movie titles are thrown around, trying to defend each other's points. The two finally decide to take it to the ring and throw some blood-curling punches. Well, no blood was actually seen in this fight, but they are ruthless fighters. They fight just like two cats in an alley. In the end, though, the crowd goes wild for Maria, saying that, yes, literature should be adapted into films. It's safe to say that the event is a favorite for many of the festival, and that when it comes to Fantastic Fest, they have some fantastic fans.
Wow, Fantastic Fest is so fantastic. Like, I literally can't even.
Can't even what?
You know, like, I can't even.
Well, until you can't even, how about we take a quick commercial break? Salutations, sneak peekers.
Hey, if you were kidnapped, would you rather be rescued by Denzel Washington or Liam Neeson?
Denzel for sure. I mean, he's so dreamy, and he's got style.
Well, nice choice, because that's exactly what he does in his new movie, The Equalizer. Our own Shane has the review.
Hey, sneak peekers. Recently, I had the opportunity to see the newest upcoming Denzel Washington movie, The Equalizer, and what a movie it is. The Equalizer is an action-packed thriller with just enough violence, so if you get overly squeamish from seeing a lot of blood and murder, this may not be the movie for you. The Equalizer follows the story of Robert McCall, who is played by Denzel Washington. Robert McCall is a former Black Ops commando who faked his death after the real death of his wife, Vivian. With his real identity hidden, he moves to Boston in hopes of leading a new, quiet life. The movie opens with a quote by Mark Twain that says, "The two most important days in your life is the day you are born and the day you find out why." This quote sets the whole mood of the story and totally foreshadowed what was to be Robert McCall's purpose. From the beginning, the audience is walked through the everyday life of Robert McCall. During the day, you can find him working at his local home mart, and by night, reading a book at his local 24-hour diner, where he repeatedly sees a young girl. To spare you the details, they get to talking, and he eventually finds out that she's a prostitute by the name of Terry. Lo and behold, Terry, whose real name is Alina, affirms her aspiration to leave the life she is living in order to become a singer. Oh, and did I mention Alina is played by Chloe Grace Moretz? I know, I didn't expect her to play such a daring character either. Anyways, as Alina tries to stray away from her old ways, she is struck and beaten by her boss, which is where Robert comes into the grand picture. Furious for what they did to Alina, Robert sets out to find the men that hurt her, and that is where it all breaks loose. Corrupt cops, bad guys, and Russian gangsters are all trying to kill him. Meanwhile, Robert is in a constant battle with himself to not go back to his old life, and justice and revenge are two things that he could not get away from. As I watched all of this unravel in front of the big screen, I could not help but remember what Denzel Washington's character had mentioned in the beginning of the movie. You have to be who you are in this world. This line seems to resonate throughout the movie by Robert having to be who he really is. Throughout the movie, Robert helps his coworkers through their own encounters with bad guys while trying to keep himself alive and avoid the Russian gangsters. In the end, just when you think it is over, we find Robert going after the top man in charge of the Russian gangsters, just to give himself some peace. If this movie doesn't sound action-packed enough for you, I promise there's punching and shooting and many awesome fight scenes. And yes, many things that blow up for no reason. Overall, I give this movie 4 out of 5 stars, so run over to your closest movie theater and check out Denzel Washington's new movie, The Equalizer. You won't be disappointed. Back to you guys.
What can't that man do?
Oh my gosh, I know, right? He's just so fantastic.
Like Fantastic Fest?
Hey, you got me. I saw so many fantastic films at Fantastic Fest. I just fantastically can't.
And now here's Faraz with the cast and crew of The Stranger at its debut in Fantastic Fest.
You didn't let me finish.
Just roll it.
Hey Sneak Peekers, we're here at Fantastic Fest and we're about to interview the cast and crew of The Strangers, so check it out. So, can you tell us more about the movie for people who haven't seen it or don't know anything about it? Guillermo?
Well, it's a supernatural thriller. It's a story about a stranger who comes to a far away town in the middle of nowhere to eradicate a very dangerous disease. And it's a disease that makes people addicted to blood. So he has the disease and he has to kill the people who has the same disease in order to eradicate it.
So what got your project started?
We have been working with Guillermo Moedo, the director, for a long time. I'm a director, so he co-wrote most of my movies. And then we started making movies with Eli Roth. We did Aftershock that I directed, and we did The Green Inferno that Eli directed, and Knock Knock that also Eli directed. And Guillermo had this idea of making like a different kind of vampire movie. And because we figured out that we were able to make movies on a different way and for a budget, we ended up being like, you know what, let's do it. You know, let's figure out a way to do it and let's do it.
Well, it's an idea I had a long time ago, like in 2010, and it kept coming back until I wrote the script, and then we got it made finally the last year. So it took some time, but it was worthwhile.
So is it easy just coming in with like a team? Like you guys are obviously, you have a group together.
Yeah.
And you're doing stuff all the time. So like how easy it is to just get a movie started?
It's easy because we're friends, you know, like the actors, the crew, it's like a little family. Like if you watch this movie, you're gonna find many actors that also appear on The Green Inferno and Aftershock and all my previous movies that I did in Spanish. So we're like a family, and this was the time. I mean, Guillermo needed his break, and we did everything possible to make this movie happen, and we're very proud of the movie.
Well, it's great. I mean, I haven't been here before. I worked previously in The Green Inferno and Aftershock. But we're here. They played here. But this is my first time here, and it's awesome because we get together with the same team, and it's a great vibe here.
I've been working with them for a while, so I mean, we're all part of the same kind of clique. I mean, we all hang out together every day. We all watch movies together. We have movie trailer night where we just sit down and watch movie trailers all night long. And so we all have a very good working rapport. Some of the other actors, Nicolas Duran, he is a remarkable actor. Cristobal Tapia is also another remarkable actor. And it's just really interesting finding new talent in Chile and bringing them on board with our kind of family that we've set up down there, and it's really interesting.
How'd you get involved with this?
How did I get involved with this? Actually, it's a funny story because I auditioned for a movie Guillermo wrote, and I didn't get the part, but he saw me there, and when he was in the pre-production for The Stranger, he remembered that I existed, so he called me up and he was like, do you want to shoot a teaser trailer for this movie I wrote and I'm directing for the States? So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And yeah, one thing led to another, and I just ended up in his movie.
Like, what was your favorite memory or experience doing this? Your favorite part?
The whole movie, the whole experience here, being here. I don't know, it's amazing. It's crazy. I never thought about it. No, I always dreamed, but never thought about it. That's it.
Well, it's been an amazing experience because the production company, which is Sovidas, they're very they're like a really tight family, so it's really hard to get inside, but once you're in, they like you. It's like you're another part of the family, so it's been an amazing experience working with all of them.
Okay, that movie looks way too scary for me.
Oh, come on. Don't be such a baby.
I'm not a baby. I just don't like being scared, that's all.
Oh, well then you better not look under your bed tonight.
Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
Thanks for watching Sneak Peek. Tune in next week.